Hey guys, so I've been away from the interwebs for a little while, and that's because I've got this little thing called a job now. So I'm trying to get some of my uniforms washed. And yes, it's the entire uniform. Thanks to these, I don't have to spend 20 minutes figuring out what I'm going to wear in the morning. But anyway, that's not why we're all here. We're here to hear a nice D&D story filled with happiness and rainbows and sunshine, right? Maybe like that. What I would like to tell you now is the story of Perder, a nice little halfling that started from random bits and pieces thrown together, and he turned into a lesser god. Disclaimer, before we go any further, I would like to say I am a Christian and I believe there's only one God, so everything that I'm about to say is purely for fiction and it is for entertainment purposes only. That out of the way, let's get to the story. We've gathered here. Now, there are two versions of the story that I would like to tell you. The first is what happened out of game. The reason that Perder became a deity. The second is a little more lore-friendly and the story in-game of what happened. So, let us begin. Our story begins all the way back in the first campaign that I ever DM'd. I prepared a one-shot campaign so that it could be finished within a single setting. Perder began as nothing more than a series of random generators that I found from various sources online. Everything from his halfling race all the way to his name. Perder was scripted to die. Everyone involved in that first campaign, all the NPCs were supposed to die. Only the player characters were supposed to make it out alive. Perder managed to make it to the end. Each of the NPCs that were involved were rolled and died off at random. Perder was the final surviving NPC. He was supposed to walk in ahead of the party, and the big bad evil guy was supposed to blast him, killing him instantly. He was done for. But of course, as anyone that has ever DM'd knows, when you plan something, your players will not allow it to happen. One of them dove in the way and saved Perder's life. The fight began and Perder survived the end. So, a little ways down the road, several sessions later, Perder continued over that time just randomly appearing. And finally, he was scripted to die a second time. So, Herder ran ahead of the party and was attacked by a necromancer's monstrosity. There was a random homebrew creature that was basically just a pile of corpses. Herder was turned into a zombie and added to the pile. The party entered and began fighting off the pile of zombies and managed to kill them all until one remained, rising from the dead was a halfling. They recognized him as Herder. And of course, the battle began, and one strike, hitting his heart, caused it to start beating again, and brought the death of halfway back to life a second time. It's 2 scripted deaths. So, since Herder survived 2 scripted deaths, he ended up being turned into a god. Now, nothing too extreme, just a lesser god. Basically, his whole philosophy is life is a party. Everyone deserves a drink. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And now, the lore behind Herder. So a long time ago, probably 100 years or so, give or take, no one really knows, Herder went into an agreement with the Lord of Order. Because at the time I knew very little about the official release deities for D&D. So, of course, I just made them up, because that's 90% of what D&D is about, right? So it was just known as the Lord of Order. He convinced Herder to sign a contract, turning him into a mortal until he could complete a task. What that task was not revealed until the very end. So Herder spent several hundred years as a mortal, walking the planet. And of course, he wound up being drawn into other adventures. And while he could be killed, he would inevitably return to life. Still stuck in his mortal form, but he kept coming back and pretty much would not die. So, Herder ended up attempting to start building a tavern. He requested help from many adventurers. And after a while, he finally asked a certain group of adventurers that just happened to be the player characters. Big surprise there. And he sent them on a quest to find the Lord of Order and to get the contract from him. They brought the contract back, and Herder set it on fire. Because you know, no contract, he's not bound by it anymore, can return to his full power. And one tiny piece of the contract fell to the ground, and for a brief moment, it changed from celestial to common, and it could be read by anyone. The party then learned what Herder had to do to get his powers back. A single sentence. Stay sober for 1 week. And that's all Herder would have had to do. But he couldn't do it. It was an impossible task. And so, Herder got his powers back. Became a full-fledged lesser god. Yeah, that's pretty much the story of Perder. Going from a randomly generated NPC to a lesser god. May Perder's light shine upon you all. That was the story of Perder. I hope you enjoyed it. And from one DM to another, I convinced my DM to allow me to use him as my own player character. So all of that stuff, this is in his background. So yeah. Of course, he still takes on mortal form to get a better understanding, to amass more followers, in order to have more followers believing in him, and it's that belief that powers him, allowing him to become more powerful. And one day, he will either overthrow the other gods so that he is the only one standing, or he might just throw a big party and give out free ale, you know, whichever comes first. Depends on what mood he's in. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this story of how an NPC turned into a god.